Oh yeah. Um, I think the position I've been put in is a catch-22 position. Yeah, it's a catch-22 position on both sides. Um, so the people that are orchestrating these events and so forth are in a catch-22 as well, because the admittance of them doing that would expose however many other people are put in this system too, and I think there's got to be a lot, because it's a well-rounded system and they've got lots of people involved, and I think the involvement goes from it's compartmentalized anyway, but I think some people are much more involved than others. Like the people that are using their phones on the streets could just be like a neighbourhood watch type, or just criminals' children, or whatever. There's lots of explanations for that, but they're making me know that I'm being watched. Yet they don't want me to be able to prove to anyone else that I'm being watched. So it's like that. It's like they want me to admit to all my crimes in the past, which I don't have that many, which I'd be willing to if they were willing to admit that I am being watched, and for which reasons. And I think if they were to admit that I'm being watched through whatever reasons, they'd be in trouble, because they'd be proving that my paranoias aren't paranoias, and my whole psychiatric evaluations have been false and still are false, because I can prove that I'm not schizophrenic. I've sort of proved it to many people. I don't hear voices. I don't have any of the schizophrenic like symptoms. I've proved it with a sleep deprivation slash adrenal overload test to show that schizophrenic symptoms can be caused and can be cured by B vitamins alone and sleep and a bit of exercise. So I think the psychiatric industry is corrupt, and they want to get people on more and more anti-psychotics, and they've got a scheme for doing it. And the scheme may be part of Project Tempura, Project Prism, whatever these watch projects are, but they're not just watch projects. They are mind control projects, basically, because they're controlling the movements in which the person's going to make by having spotters and people watching which direction you go, putting you off going certain directions, using subliminal threats, etc., which is nearly impossible to explain unless I write a 150,000 word book explaining the whole process of what they've done over the years. I have people that believe me. Mum believes me. She's witnessed one of the theatrics events that are done, and I think even the people involved with the theatrics don't actually realise they're involved. They think they're there to help, basically, to get someone who's mentally unstable, sectioned in a safe environment with people around ready to get hold of them, basically. Well, that was the view I had of that event, Mum.
Yeah.
Weren't it with you? That was the
Yeah.
that. So, and the main reason for that was because I told them I weren't taking my antipsychotics anymore, and I hadn't been taking them for ages, and that's when it all started becoming more intense again. Once I told them, not once I stopped the antipsychotics, I only took them for a few days. They made my arms and legs go all funny, and I felt really weird. I felt like I'd been half lobotomized in the brain, and I think the benefits far underweigh what's the word, the the non-benefits that they're not beneficial to someone, especially when they're not schizophrenic. But when you've been given a diagnosis of having schizophrenia when you're not schizophrenic, it's a bit of a, you're in a bit of a catch-22 there as well. Yeah, if these people were to admit through these different compartmentalised groups that I'm being watched, even just from one sector, I'd have proof that my paranoias are completely justified and they're not delusional at all. And I also think paranoid delusional disorder in a lot of cases is probably not a disorder at all. It's probably someone who's paranoid yet not delusional, and they're having strange things happen to them, which can't be proved because of the way that the system has been designed to control them, basically. So it is a mind control project, and I've started getting the shaking, quivering of the spine again from the lower lumbar part of the spine, where all your cartilage meets up in quite a dense amount. So that's where if there is an electromagnetic current going through you, you're going to feel it most, because it vibrates through cartilage more, even though it emanates through your body. And that's just something I know about the human body, which a lot of people won't know. So they might be wondering, why is my spine shaking? And I've heard from a lot of other people that claim to be targeted individuals that that's happening to them too. Also the shocks. It happens on like a monthly type basis, or it happens in cycles. So it's very hard to prove, but they're definitely using some form of weapon through criminal activities that the people who just think they're watching you, or just think you're under a neighbourhood watch scheme, don't have a clue about. And the same goes for the people using the weapons. They probably think they're probably through a criminal network and so forth. So it's very hard to explain. It's nearly impossible to prove. Yet they did the theatrics so bad. My mum managed to spot it out on one occasion. Yet they've drip fed me the theatrics loads of times and then acted them out. So it's It's basically a state of confusion. They make coincidences happen, so there's a continuous coincidences happening to you, which leaves you in an anxious state anyway. When you're in an anxious state, you identify coincidences more because you're anxious. But if they reverse the effect and continuously put coincidences before you, you're going to be in a continuously anxious state anyway. I suppose that's all I had to say on the thing for now. If you want to press the red button.